Hey guys, I want to show you some really interesting information that the zombie developers have been tweeting out, giving us a hint behind these zombies and what the zombies are actually saying. And a lot of people are thinking that maybe this is leading to some kind of an Easter egg, and we need to figure out what they are saying. And I had tweeted this out earlier, but I was opening multiplayer rare drops and I got these pistols. This is the M1911 epic variant called the American, and I was surprised by this little animation that you get when you inspect it. I just thought it was cool, and it's like a little gun fidget spinner. So anyways, one of the developers from Sledgehammer tweeted, he said, "So many creative voices out there, and yet nobody has tried listening to the Untoten vocal bunch of corpses, right?" Then Oxenate had messaged him, and he responded saying, "This semester will be History and Language 101. Everybody find your study partners." So after we saw this, we were like, okay, so the zombies seem like they are legitimately saying something. It's not just some made up language like the Apothicon language on Black Ops 3. And if we study some historical language, or dead language, no pun intended, we might be able to figure it out. If it's important enough for this guy to make a tweet about it, we're really hoping that he's giving a hint to some kind of unfound Easter egg, and it's not going to be just some backstory, although the backstory is very cool. So after learning a little bit about the backstory and paying attention to in-game clues, I ran across some really interesting stuff, and then also stumbled on some other really cool stuff I want to show you guys. One of them is about the super Easter egg and how all the maps are gonna link, and I'll show you guys that first, and then I'll talk more about the zombie language after. I had remembered Dr. Straub talking about the zombies and how they could talk, so I wanted to look at the information surrounding that to see if there were any clues. There were these audio and video logs that you can pick up around the map, and you can watch and listen to them. And basically they said they were in this group called the Ahnenerbe, and that's a group of Nazis that specializes in researching rare and unusual artifacts around the world. They were having trouble finding anything of significance, and then they had heard about some German miners that had uncovered something really significant underneath the town of Middelburg inside of a salt mine, and it was the hilt to the legendary sword of the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick Barbarossa, and that's the hilt that you see that's a part of the Easter egg. So Hitler sent in his Ahnenerbe crew to recover this hilt, but they couldn't move it. It'd been sitting there for 700 years, and it was being protected by some magical magnetic field. Since they weren't able to move it, scientists went in to see what they could do with it, and they were able to siphon off vast amounts of energy from it. And during these experiments, one of the cables came loose and hit one of the soldiers, and it killed him instantly, but then revived him instantly, where he was a zombie basically, so it reanimated him. So basically, electricity combined with the magnetic field of the hilt can reanimate cells, but it reanimates them and makes them very violent. And here's the quote about all of that and how they actually speak. So Dr. Straub says, "I created an active Geistkraft circuit in the undead body of a soldier, and simple commands will trigger the lizard brain to pull on muscles, tendons, even punctured lungs. Yes, they speak. They have a language, a foul tongue. The Untoda are preserved by the same energy that drives them." So he didn't say what language they speak. He's just saying that they have a language. Now, if he said they just speak, I would assume that they would be speaking German, but he's making it sound like they speak another language. And this is all the information that is in any of the audio or surrounding clues in the game. So if the zombies are being created by King Barbarossa's hilt and electricity, then maybe their language is being derived from that as well. If you think about King Barbarossa's time and when he was alive and ruling, I believe he spoke German, so I don't know if that's really gonna help, but I thought it would be good to look at the backstory to maybe try to understand what they could be speaking. Now, all of the zombie audio files are available, and you guys can listen to them without being in the game, and I'll show you guys that in a moment. But first, I want to show you more about the backstory and how it is telling us a little bit about the super Easter egg. It looks like the developers are focusing a lot on the legend of King Barbarossa, and if you look on the Wikipedia page, it is basically spelling out our entire map and storyline. Here's the Wikipedia page here, and I'm just going to read some of the more interesting stuff. It said, "Frederick is the subject of many legends, including that of a sleeping hero. Legend says he's not dead, but asleep with his knights in a cave in the Kufheise Mountains in Germany, and that when the ravens cease to fly around the mountain, he will awake and restore Germany to its ancient greatness. And occasionally, while he's sleeping, he sends out a small boy to go check and see if the ravens are still flying or if they've stopped. Because if they stop, then yeah, he's going to awaken and then rule again. And that doesn't mean a whole lot until you start putting the pieces together. And during the Easter egg on the map, you have to defend the lightning rod. And if you go up to it, you're going to see your thing on the top left flashing, and you can open up your menu and it gives you some information about it. And it says designed to draw electricity from lightning rod strikes to the bridge tower down to the medieval chamber beneath the town. Lightning strikes are common along the Kufheiser foothills from late winter to early spring. So based on legend, that dude's here somewhere and sleeping. And the ravens are still flying. We can see them flying out of the windows and around the town. So again, based on legend, he's still sleeping because we still see the ravens. So is the final Easter egg gonna be that we wake this dude up and we gotta fight him or something? I do know that we do have like some kind of super Easter egg linkage to each of the maps. And unfortunately, people on Reddit have been posting the steps to the Easter egg for DLC 1, and if you guys don't want spoilers, don't listen, but there have been multiple videos already made about this, so I feel comfortable enough with speaking about it. But again, if you don't want spoilers, definitely stop the video. So in the final Reich, the Easter egg gave us the hilt, and then when you did the hardcore Easter egg, it gave you the gem that goes inside of it. Well, for DLC 1, we're going to be doing basically the same thing and collecting another piece to the sword. So I assume every DLC is going to be a new piece to the sword until it's completed, but the question is, will we ever really see King Barbarossa like resurrect? I think that would be amazing. The developers seem to be basing our storyline heavily on more of the legend of him than the real him, so if that's true, then yeah, he could wake up and we could see him in a boss fight. But back to the zombies language, I want to show you guys a link where you can go and listen to all of the zombies audio lines. They're very clear. Now, I don't know what they're saying. I'm not a linguist. I do speak Apothicon, but that's not real. But hopefully we can work together and figure out at least what language this is. I listened to a few audio clips, and because I'm a zombie player, you know, you got to listen to everything backwards because that's just what we do. And I did, and actually it sounded a little bit more like a language than it did playing forwards. I've got 2 clips here for you guys to listen to. The first set of clips is of the audio file being played forwards, and then the second one is it being played backwards. And then I'll play the second one for you, and you guys can kind of listen and see what you think. It's still pretty rough and definitely hard to understand, and we're going to need a lot of help from the community to figure this one out, but they seem to think that we can figure it out, and there's plenty of lines to translate, so I'm excited to see, you know, what they're actually saying. But I'll have the link to all of the audio files down in the description. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm looking forward to all your feedback to see what you think this language actually is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next video.